Welcome, everybody, to This Fragile Fire, Season 2, Episode 3. And today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a About Me type of theme. We're going to look into some questions that exist so that those who are new to listening or those who want to know more about me will know more about me. And I have requested that ChatGPT generate random questions, a few random questions that of various sorts from various backgrounds for me to answer. And I think it'll be fun and interesting. So let's kind of jump right into it. So you guys listening can know more about yours truly. If you don't know me much already, those who do know me will probably find this repetitive or what have you, something like that, Anyway, got my matcha tea here with lion's mane for clarity and focus. All right, so the first question is in the category of personal background. What's something people often misunderstand about me? So, with all these questions, I'm going to answer them without a script or whatever. What's something people often misunderstand about me? I think people view me, or misunderstand one thing I think is that people view me as somebody who's very cold or offensive, or someone who's very rancid or vile, mostly because of the outlandish things that I might say or things that are unfiltered or not politically correct. And I think, obviously when people hear those things from someone, they're going to have an impression of someone who's probably not super smart or someone who is, kind of into darkness on the inside. But for me, I'm not like that. I am somebody who is very emotional. I'm very into my emotions. I care deeply about various things. I am poetic. I'm empathetic. I'm romantic. I'm very thoughtful, I ponder a lot. And in doing so, I often do gravitate towards dark humor. I love dark humor. I love offensive things. For those of you who follow my Instagram, you see that I post a lot of things about Charlie Kirk or like stupid memes that are offensive to Israel or whatever, or anything really. I don't know. It's funny to me. I love it. But, in doing so, I think people might get the impression that I'm somebody who is cold or indifferent or lacking empathy. But no, I'm a sweetheart. I'm a big teddy bear. I don't like to fight or cause violence or harm. I just love to joke. I love to take things not seriously. I love to take life not seriously because we live so shortly to be taking things way too seriously. And in doing so, I think people misunderstand that I might be like this cold brat or like this dumb goofball. And I can act like that, but really I care a lot about what I talk about, and I'm a nerd. I'm very soft and squishy on the inside. Let's see, what's the next category? Identity and growth. What's something I'm still actively unlearning? Ooh, this is a good one. I think I am actively currently unlearning the years of being stuck in this Christian mindset, this church mindset. Because although I'm pioneering in new ways of thinking for me, and expanding my horizons, there's still like some learned behavior or like thought patterns or questions that will come in my head. Like, for example, I was scrolling today and I was watching this reel on hell, and immediately what popped to mind is like fiery burning torment of eternity. And I thought of church and like, oh, like what? And I started questioning myself, like, what if everything that I know is just a trick by the devil to get me to unfollow Jesus and to become an atheist, or like, question everything and step away from everything, etc. And there are times when I think that, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about all this. Maybe my progress is actually regression. Maybe it's not progress at all. And it's internally, I think that's my understanding of what I was so used to growing up, really holding on for dear life and, fighting against this new person that I'm becoming and this new mind that I'm developing, this critical thinking. And I still am actively unlearning that whole mindset, that whole like stuck mindset, that dogmatic, doctrine-based Christian mindset where sin here, sin there. I hate myself, punishing myself for being who I am. And I'm actively unlearning it because I still find myself like doubting my own growth. What if, like I said, what if this is the devil? What if this is something bigger that I'm not seeing? This giant ploy, this psyop. And it's tough unlearning years of indoctrination. It really is. I'm very happy though, at least that I'm deconstructing a lot of what I used to know. It feels right. It feels like the actual path that God put me on. It feels real. It feels empathetic. It feels in line with who I am. So I'm going forward with it, and I'm going to continue to unlearn those old habits because they produce nothing but fear and terror, and much of what I talked about last episode of, just cowering and hate and fear and other nasty things that don't do anybody any good. And the person I'm becoming today and the person I am now, I'm very proud of. And it took a lot, truly, to be okay with saying, you know what? I am this way. I am Anthony. I'm this way. And there's no group of people who can tell me otherwise because God made me who I am. And that's that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah. So let's do the next question here. Mental health and inner life. How has my relationship with myself changed over time? I think now at this current point, I am someone who is I have a pretty good relationship with myself. I think. I feel so, at least. If I get depressed now, it's mostly just because of the way the world is, or the way things are unfolding around me, or things that are happening to other people. Because now I kind of have this like, it is what it is type of mindset. Like I'll control what I can control. I'll raise awareness for what I can raise awareness for. But ultimately, I'm just going to focus on things that I can do and things that I can't do, or not focus on things I can't do. But over time, I like was so stuck in my traditionalist old world view growing up, like, being super Christian, being, hating gay people. Ironic, right? Hating gay people. And this was when I was young. Isn't that sad? This is when I was young. And this is what the church kind of, did for me, is like perpetuate this idea that gay people and anybody queer are the devil, and they're sinful, and they're not good. And they were made in error. And I grew up understanding that and believing in that. And that's so false. I grew up in this traditionalist mindset where like, anybody who looked different or had a different worldview was dangerous and they needed to be silenced. They were heretical to me. They were against God. They were against Jesus. And I even had like a fanatical mindset, and I would say it like it was borderline fascist, and it was dangerous because I was scared of what I was internally and what I felt like I was. I was scared of change. I was scared of other cultures. I was scared of other people. And as a kid, can you believe that? And it's not my parents' fault at all. It's not my parents' fault at all. They had a hands-off approach. They wanted me to figure myself out in my own worldview. They let me be independent and make choices out of love. And I wasn't a problematic kid. My parents were very loving. They did what they needed to do for me. And I appreciated that. And in so doing, they had the hands-off approach where I could, form my own worldview, my own viewpoints on anything. And ultimately, that led to me going down this rabbit hole of like right-wing belief and fear and dogma and whatever, based on a Christian perspective, which is stupid. But over time, by meeting different people, by coming into contact with different backgrounds, people of different backgrounds, broadening my understanding of the world, doing more reading, and just people, I unlearned a lot of what I used to be and what I used to believe in. I abandoned that because it didn't make sense. Because then that's when I started to understand, like, why would God create me to hate other people and then for other people to be not enough or less so for him? I met people in the Navy. I met people even at my work, my jobs. And they were beautiful people. And I was so happy to meet them. And I think that's what helped me get away from that stuck dogmatic mindset. It was no good. And I'm very blessed that I was capable of growth. And also, my relationship with myself, like I used to hate, and speaking of all that, I used to hate myself because I was scared. I was so scared of the idea of being bi or even liking men or liking the same sex. I was so scared of that. And I was, I would take my anger out on anybody who was LGBT or whatever. And I would just be like, no, that couldn't be me. That couldn't be me. That's not me. That's not me. It's too different. It's weird. It's a sin, whatever. It's not me. And I hated that. I hated the thoughts I would have. I hated the desires I had. I hated the attractions that I had. And I hated my body too. Like I remember my parents, in that hands-off approach, kind of fed me anything like McDonald's, fast food, convenient food, just crappy stuff as a kid. And I hated my body. I was a little heavy. I was overweight, and I hated my body. I hated my sexuality. I hated everything about me. And the only way to survive was to channel that hate for me out for hate for other things and people. And it created this like nasty personality that I had. And it's so sad because internally, I truly know that I was not a hateful person. It's my situation in life that turned me sour. And I took that out on other people, and I regret that. And I don't like that. I was a kid in middle school and like high school and whatever. But it hurts to say that I did hate myself a lot for my faults, for my, way of thinking, for this stupid belief that was arbitrary that I don't believe in anymore. But it took a lot of unlearning to get to where I am today, and I love myself for who I am. I will admit I still have body dysmorphia here and there. Like I'll tell myself like, oh, I'm too fat, or I'll compare myself to people I see in public or social media and like, oh, why can't I be like that? Here and there. But ultimately it's not, my relationship with myself is infinitely better now than it was before. And I'm very grateful for that. Values and beliefs. What beliefs have I questioned or walked away from? A lot of you know that I used to be a MAGA supporter. I used to support Donald Trump a lot, big time. I used to do his voice. I used to do impressions. I used to watch his speeches. I used to repost things on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. I used to be all for MAGA because I believed that Trump was the person who could say it like it is and stop the stupid arguing and get shit done. I believed that. I thought, I believed in that. But I walked away from that type of conservatism. And I think I walked away from political parties completely. And it all happened when and it was so crazy how it happened too. Like, right when I accepted myself, my sexuality, who I was, what I believed in, and my passions, my fire was ignited in July during my San Diego trip in summer of 2025, almost 6 months ago. It also awakened in me a great deal of other things, like, when I was dating my man, the first guy that I met, who I loved and who I fell for. I don't even know if it was probably wasn't even love. It was like infatuation or something. I don't know. Either way, he was of a immigrant background. And for me, how can I support Donald Trump when the person that I have feelings for is an immigrant? I'd be a walking contradiction. That'd be a no bueno. It'd be reprehensible to live on that type of double standard. And I myself, as Anthony, don't believe in that type of system where we're throwing people out who work hard and contribute to a society just because of who they are and where they came from. And I walked away from that. I walked away from believing in what ICE was doing, and I walked away from the MAGA movement. I walked away from conservatism. I walked away from political parties. I walked away from that whole thing. Like, my whole worldview flipped. Like, it all aligned with my growing empathy that I've always had internally, for humanity, like free school, healthcare, initiatives to help the homeless, volunteer work, true Christ-like fruit, not Christianity, true Christ-like fruit, and living according to things that he spoke of, and renouncing a lot of what I used to believe in, like capitalism. Even I just can't even do capitalism because it's inherently anti-Christian, or forgive me, anti-Christ. It's anti-human. It's not meant to create a thriving society. It'll create a thriving society of corporations, but not for families and humans and the individual and well-being of our health and mental health. I walked away from conservatism. It just was, to me, inherently anti-human. It was all about profit, all about shareholders, all about the people on the very top. And it cared little for people like you and me who work our 9 to 5s, who bust our ass, who are always tired, who go to the gym, go to work, go take care of our families, etc., etc., etc. What we've been sold in politics no longer serves us, and I walked away from all of that. Now I'm still passionate about politics, but I don't have a label. I don't care. I just want justice, and I want humanity to thrive, and I want people to have a wholesome family, wholesome lives, wholesome relationships. I don't care what label it is. I just want people to be happy, to be content, to be strong. I don't care about the labels. I don't care about religion. I don't care about conservatism. I don't care about all the things I used to believe in. I care about humanity, and I walked away from all that stuff that robs humanity of its dignity. And let's see. The next question. Relationships and connection. What boundaries have I learned to set for my own peace? I think this one's a kind of a hard one because I haven't really thought about it really. But I guess one thing that I've become more comfortable setting a boundary in is like personal time. Like, I need time for myself when it comes to my friends, and even my boyfriend. I will say I need time to sleep, to rest, to recuperate, because my life is busy and it's very tiring. And there's no way in hell that I can constantly be around gatherings, people, outings all the time, and then sacrifice sleep and my other obligations. I have my certification for a personal trainer to work on. I have the gym. I have sleep, right? Like those things are important to me. So I've learned to set those for my own peace, like for solitude, for rest, for disconnection from the noise of the world. Before I'd be like, yeah, I'll go out, I'll go do this, blah, blah, blah. I work in the morning, but I'll just, take it through. Who cares? Yeah. Doesn't work anymore like that. Because I don't feel like falling apart when I'm older. I don't feel like having sickness. I don't feel like having bags forever under my eyes. I don't feel like always being tired. Yeah, fuck all that. So desire for sleep has caused me to set those boundaries of, hey, I just can't go out. And it's given me confidence because sleep actively, affects everything in your life. So the more and better sleep that I have, the more active and willing I'll be wanting to be in terms of going out and hanging out with people. Because I don't want to go hang out with people half dead and half present. And then it's not really hanging out. I'm just existing, So just setting boundaries for rest and sleep and solitude, that's really important for me. And I would suggest actually that everyone else out there set something like that. All right. So creativity, interests, and passions. What brings me joy lately? Ooh, I'll tell you what. Star Wars brings me joy lately. I'm a big fucking Star Wars nerd. I love Star Wars. I love it. 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 I love Star Wars. And I've been watching the movies again. I'm currently on episode 2. I just started. Currently on episode 2. I'm right at the part where Anakin and Padme get sent to Naboo because Anakin needs to be Padme's security detail. So I'm on episode 2, and I plan to watch Clone Wars, the old 2003 Clone Wars, and then episode 3, and then watch the shows too after that, like Rebels and even the Jedi Fallen Order cutscenes, everything, full experience. I love Star Wars, and that's bringing me joy right now. I don't know why, but usually every year around December, winter, November, December, January, and winter, I get like, okay, let me establish this real quick. I am always loving Star Wars year round, constantly. I love Star Wars, but for some reason in the wintertime, it gets more intense, more potent, my love for that.
So I'm like playing the games, like Star Wars Battlefront, Empire War. Probably gonna start playing Knights of the Old Republic soon with my boyfriend. Like it's gonna be great. And also like during the winter months, my creativity blossoms a lot. My itch to write, to make, blossoms during this time. I think it's just because of the moody clouds and how cold it is. So I've been getting my passion back to continue where I left off on my book and brainstorm and pick up where I left off from there, so I can make it, finish it, make a good story and publish it. Because eventually I would like to publish it. I feel like it's a good story. I feel like what I have so far, people would love. And that's been bringing me joy, thinking about that universe and brainstorming ideas. I love writing. So I'm very excited to get back into that. Let's see. Purpose and direction. What does success mean to me now? Not what I was taught it should mean. So everybody that's an American knows what they've been taught success means. College, family, career, die. That's it. And for me, that's not life. That's not life at all. I don't think God intended us all to sit here and count our paycheck and have kids just to have them and be miserable and be married and whatever. I think God intended us all to just find contentment in everyday life, to be happy, to be satisfied with what we have, to love what we do, to find something that we love to do. Like success can be anything. It could be, like me, for example, it could be working at Sprouts and loving Sprouts and loving the people there. And I'm happy. I'm making money, saving money, not being done with it. To me, that's success. Success to me means just having contentment and peace wherever you are in life. To me, success doesn't mean having money, having a big house, having the newest car, the latest phone. It means finding peace where you are, with who you are, with what you have. And once you find peace and you can enjoy the seconds that pass by every day, that's success to me. It's not some idea of culture where, you need to have a career. It's success is that you're actively adding to the world. You're bearing fruit for yourself and others. You're spreading joy and kindness and you're giving and you receive humbly and, you enjoy earth, you enjoy existence, you enjoy God, you enjoy the love that we have for each other. That's success. If I had a kid, I would tell him, you know what, kid? You do whatever you want. Truly. And I'm sure that I will find a way always to support you. And it's not even about finding a way. It's I will support you no matter what you do. Just please don't hurt yourself. That's all I would tell my kid. I will support whatever you do. Just please don't hurt yourself. If for them, if I were to have a kid and they would do something with their lives, like, they're going to be a manager at a Starbucks, or they were flipping burgers their whole life, but they were at peace. They come home every day, content. They have energy. They have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. They, they're happy. They're comfortable. That's success to me. He's doing what he wants to do. She's doing what she wants to do. And that makes me happy. That's success. And yeah, they find, comfort is always an indicator of advancing more and putting more into life. If my kid wanted to do something more and they have a passion that they really love, like like singing, making music, drawing, doing art, whatever. Look at me, look at Anthony. Of course, I'm going to support my kid who does all that stuff. Go on social media, go market yourself, go put yourself out there, go show people what you can do. And they love doing it. And that's all that matters. That's success to me. Life is too short to be confining it to some pattern or like checklist life that we all need to live. It's so stupid. And I wish people could see beyond what our capitalist system has forced us into. Let's see. Fun, lighthearted. What's something I'll always love no matter how old I get? What's something I love no matter how old I get? That's a good one. I think it's Star Wars. I've already said Star Wars, but I think it's truly Star Wars. Or I could say sci-fi. Sci-fi is badass to me. Sci-fi and history, but sci-fi is badass. I hope for damn sure when I'm 40 years old, when I'm 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, if I get to 100, I hope that I'm still playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I hope that I'm still blowing people up in Empire at War. Or I hope I still play Halo. I hope I still am reading the Halo books or the Star Wars books, or I hope I'm still involved with that, because Star Wars, whenever I've been down, happy, sad, mad, whatever, Star Wars has always reeled me back in. It's my safe place. And I hope that no matter how elderly I get, I will always love it, be listening to the music, be playing the games, watching the movies. I hope that Star Wars remains a part of my life forever. And it will. I'm confident saying it will. There's no way. Star Wars has just impacted me so much and left its print on me that nothing could happen to it at all. And in closing, this one's a little deeper by the looks of it, but in closing, what am I proud of surviving? I am proud of surviving a few things. I am proud of surviving the self-hatred and guilt that Christianity has put on me. I am proud of surviving depression and suicidal thoughts and a desire to make attempts. I am proud of surviving my experience in the Navy, being on a submarine, being around some crazy people, real mean people. I'm proud of surviving my own mind and the critic and the stress. And I'm proud of surviving modern life. Truly. I'm proud of surviving. I'm proud of surviving modernity and society and the expectations that they have for us. And in a weird way, I'm just proud of surviving myself. The conditions mentally that I put on myself, the extreme self-critic, the anorexic, the doubter, and coming through in the end. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the person I've become. And I'm proud that I've still kept going and loved myself and never gave up on things that I care about. I'm proud that I've gotten this far, and I'm proud that I didn't end up taking my own life. because this experience is too special to me. And the people that I know are too special to me for it to have been cut short by a permanent fix to a temporary problem. And I'm thankful for all the people that I know and who stuck around all throughout these years. And I hope that all of you listening can take a moment to reflect on what you are proud of surviving. Truly, I beg you, sit back for a moment, stop what you're doing if you can, and just kind of think, reflect. Sit there and think and appreciate how far you've come and what you have survived, big or small. Because no matter what, you're going to be somebody who someone else looks up to. And you're way stronger than you give yourself credit for. And that, my friends, is episode 3 of season 2 for This Fragile Fire. And I'm happy to have answered some questions about myself. And hopefully y'all learned something about me if you didn't already. And I look forward to the next one. I'll see you all later. And don't forget to be jolly, merry, and with the Christmas spirit this month. It's my favorite month. So stay jolly and stay in it to win it, because Christmas is literally 12 days away from this recording. So cheers to you, and here's to a very, very merry December.